welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagmani, I am Associate Professor from Department of Computer Science, Aryabhat College, University of Delhi. So presently we are going through this series which is programming in Java, and in our previous lectures we have looked into the concept of applets, and before that we were looking into all the applications which are generally text based, and since last two previous lectures we have stepped in actually into we have stepped in into the GUI frameworks, and our today's topic is also based also based on Java's one of the majorly used or a prominent framework, which is going to be a GUI framework, obviously GUI as in graphical user interface. And this framework which we are going to discuss in our today's lecture is known as AWT. AWT as in Abstract Window Toolkit, and today we are going to begin with, and we will be spending some more lectures on this AWT thing. So AWT, as stands for Abstract Window Toolkit. It is the Java's first graphical user interface framework. Now, why I am saying this is first GUI framework of Java, because this is this has been the part of Java since the Java's 1.0 version, which was the first the ever first version of Java. What does it actually contain? It actually contains so many various classes and along with those classes numerous methods. These methods and classes, they both provide the functionality to allow to create windows and simple control. So when I am talking about windows, you understand that means I am talking about a particular canvas or maybe a kind of a frame or a window, something of that sort. But when I am saying that it allows you to create simple controls, so what kind of controls I am talking about here is please recall the HTML sessions in which we have gone through having some form controls. So these form controls can be of the form these could be labels, these could be text fields, or these could be text areas, or it could be radio button or checkbox, or kind of all these things. So these simple things comes under the topic of controls. Now, as far as AWT is concerned, as a programmer, we can say that we seldomly create GUI which are based solely on AWT. Now, why only AWT is not sufficient? Because there are so many more powerful GUI frameworks available with Java. For example, Swings is one of them, but nowadays Swings is also not used much. Then we have JavaFX and so many other so many other GUI frameworks. So it is not what we are going to use AWT alone, but along with these more powerful frameworks, we may use some of the functionalities of AWT. But as far as academics or UG degrees are concerned, AWT comprises of a major portion of GUI framework understanding of Java. But despite of these facts that AWT is not going to be used, or it is going to be seldomly used while for creation of Java based GUIs, please make sure that this is going to be an important, or that this AWT remains an important part of Java. Now, AWT, when we talk about, so are we actually familiar with this AWT in our, do we have any familiarity on the basis of our previous lectures? Yes, I can say yes. A common use of AWT is in the applets, which we discussed in our previous lectures, and it is also used to create an standalone window that can run in a GUI environment. Which GUI environment I am talking about is Windows. So, for example, Windows operating system you have, and within that operating system, within that environment, you are building such a program that a window will be displayed, and some other controls are actually being displayed onto that. And is it actually the only, the controls are there just for the display? No. Behind those controls there goes, kind of lot of programming, lot of implementation which is based on these controls, working of these controls, and these are known, these are basically known as events and events listener. We will be going through them in, in our upcoming lectures, but in today's lectures let us focus on the, concept of abstract window toolkit as the fundamental. Now this AWT, as I told you, this AWT is actually available in the form of various classes and methods. All these AWT classes are contained in a package which is named as java.awt, and all this java.awt is in the running letters, no capitals here please. So all AWT classes, the AWT classes are contained in this package which is named as java.awt. So that means we need to import this whenever we are working with AWT classes, and this is one of the Java's largest available packages. Now when we talk about AWT, this AWT defines the windows according to a class hierarchy, and within those windows it keeps on adding the different functionality and different specificity with each level. Now what kind of windows I am talking about? That window could be a panel, or that window could be a frame. Now what is the difference between this window which is in the form of a panel and the window which is in the form of a frame? That we will see shortly. So two most common windows are those derived from panel, which is now panel is actually used by applets, and applets we have seen in our previous lectures. And another category could be another category of common windows which are based on AWT are those which are derived from frame. And frame is something which creates a standard application window, and panel, if you want to imagine, is actually something which is like applet, and applet, how this applet looks like, that we have already covered. Now coming to when I am telling you that it is this AWT defines windows according to a class hierarchy. What kind of class hierarchy I am going to I am actually talking about is actually displayed on the screen. So here we have hierarchy displayed. So on top of it we have component, and all these terms which you can see here are actually the name of the classes. Each and every class is having its own kind of functionality attached with it. So we have a component class which is which is being shown here as the topmost one. Then we have a container class which seems like actually a subclass of this component. Yes, it is the subclass of this component class. Then this container is having two more subclasses, which is window and panel, and this is what I was just talking about, that panel is something you can say panel is a kind of a window which is being used for the applet. As far as window is concerned, that is something which is for displaying standard windows. And then actually within the window it is the frame which is going to be categorically used. So this is what is your hierarchy. So component as the topmost, then we have container class, and container class is again divided, or I can say have two more kind of subclasses, window and panel, and within the window, or window is having one more level of these kind of hierarchy, I can say, which is nothing but the frame. And now what are we going to do? We will try to understand all these classes one by one. So let us start from this component, what actually this component class is, what kind of functionality it provides, then we will jump to container and so on and so forth. So this is what we are going to do right now. So when we talk about the component, as you have seen in the figure, that it is on the top of the AWT hierarchy. It is the component class. It is actually an abstract class, and it is going to encapsulate all the attributes of a visual component, whatever attributes of a visual component you can imagine, that all being kind of encapsulated inside this component class. And except for menus, all the user interface elements that are displayed on the screen and that interact with the user are subclasses of component. So, component is having various subclasses which are in the form of interface elements that are going to be displayed on the screen. We will talk about them in this lecture itself, and then whatever user interface elements are there that are going to interact with the users on the actual with the help of actual programming, or all these interface elements are subclasses of component except for menus. So, menu is also one of the user interface elements, but this is not the subclass of the component. Now, in order to handle all these interface elements, your component class defines over a various, or we can say numerous public methods. These public methods are responsible for managing events. Now, what kind of events I am talking about? So, for example, you are clicking a mouse, that is a mouse click event. You are hovering a mouse on a particular screen or within a window. So, that mouse hovering is also a kind of event, or even clicking on a button is also an event. So, various public methods which are there for managing events related to mouse and keyboard inputs, or it could be related to positioning and sizing of the window, then repainting of windows. So, many methods are available within this component class, and on top of it, a component object is responsible for remembering the current foreground and background colors and the currently selected text font. So, your component object is actually responsible for remembering the current foreground and background colors also, and this hierarchy we have already seen. Now, moving from here, we have understood the basic the brief idea about the component class. Now, we are moving into the next level in this hierarchy, which is nothing but a container class. So, container class, as shown in the hierarchy, is actually the subclass of the component class, and it is having some additional methods that allow the other components objects to be nested within it. So, for example, we want to kind of store some components objects onto it. So, for that nesting we have this container class, and because of this functionality of this containment, you may have a multi-level containment system in which the other container objects can be stored inside a container, since they themselves are the instances of the this component thing. Now, this container is actually responsible for laying out here as in like positioning any components that it contains. So, for example, there is a button, then there is a label, and then there is a text text field, or maybe a text area. So, how these controls, or how these components are going to be placed within a particular container is your container class is actually responsible for that positioning, for that layout. Now, how that positioning is going to be take place, that is your container class does this through the use of various layout managers. So, I am having various layout managers. So, it could be a card layout, it could be a flow layout, or it could be a grid layout. So, with the help of these layout managers, I will be able to position the various components inside a container. So, at the top of the hierarchy we have the component class, and below that we have a subclass which is named as container. Now, if you are able to recall that hierarchical figure which we have just seen, now this container class is actually now having two more subclasses which were being shown in the figure. The first one is the panel and another one is the window. Now, let us focus on this panel class. So, panel subclass is actually a concrete subclass of the container, or this can be thought of as a recursively nestable concrete screen component. Now, this panel, if you remember, is actually kind of panel is superclass for applet. Applet as in a capital. So, when the screen output is directed to an applet, it is drawn on the surface of a panel object. So, I am repeating it here again because this is kind of, I can say this statement helps us in connecting the dots between our previous lecture and this one. This panel is the superclass for applet, applet class as in a capital P P L E T, and when there is an screen output which is directed to the applet which you have kind of programmed, it is drawn on the surface of a panel object. So, but in essence you need to remember this, that a panel is a window that does not contain a title bar, a menu bar or a border. So, no border, no title bar, no menu bar are not being provided with the window which is of type kind of panel, and that is why you will not be able to see these items when an applet is run inside a browser. But when you run an applet using the another method which is using the applet viewer, the applet viewer itself provides the title and border. So, whenever you are going to look into your applet, or whenever you are going to execute your applet using an applet viewer, there will be a title and the border because they are provided by that applet viewer itself. While if you are running your applets inside this your inside the browser, then you do not see any of these items like title bar, menu bar or border, because whenever they are being displayed on the browser, they are being drawn on the surface of a panel object, and panel is a window which is not having these title bar, menu bar or border. Now, panel was actually a subclass of the container. The another subclass of the container was the window class. So, window class actually creates a top level window, and this top level window is not contained within any other object. It sits directly on the desktop. That means you cannot have that window within a panel or something of that sort. And but it generally it will not make any sense to create a window object directly. Instead, a subclass of window called the frame that we are going to use. So, that means there is no point in like drawing a window on the desktop itself, because it sits directly on the desktop and it is a top level window which is not contained within any other object. So, it makes more sense to work in case of window, it makes more sense to work with a subclass of window which is called frame. Now, what is this frame? So, frame actually encapsulates what is what we are perceiving when we are talking about the term window. Actually, it is the subclass of the class window, and it is having a title bar, menu bar, border facility of these corners which can be resized. So, from here there starts the difference between the frame and the panel. Panel, I have told you that it is actually a window which is not having any of these items, while your frame is actually a subclass of the window and having title bar, menu bar, borders and corners to be resized and so on and so forth. One important class which was not being shown as the part of hierarchy for applets or for the frame windows is actually canvas. So, canvas is nothing but I can say it is one other type of window which may be used in some of the cases. It is also derived from the component class, and this canvas encapsulates a blank window on which one can draw with the help of various other AWT methods. So, there are various AWT methods for drawing various for drawing or for placing various elements onto a particular kind of screen or frame or panel, I can say. So, that canvas encapsulates a blank window on which you can draw anything with the help of programming. Now, when we talk about the frame window, so in addition to the applet, the type of AWT based window which is most often used is derived from frame. So, one is the kind of AWT based window, one is the applet that we have seen already, and another commonly used AWT based window is going to be derived from the frame. So, whenever I am saying derived from the frame, that means this frame is going to be the top level kind of we can say the top level class within that program, and then it is being derived with the help of various subclasses. Now, what is the usage of this frame? This usage of this frame is that it is used to create various child windows either within the applets or for the standalone applications. So, this frame is frame class is responsible for creating child windows within the applets and the top level or the child windows for the standalone applications. Now, how we can use this frame class with the help of the constructor? We will be kind of I can say we will be creating an object. What all constructors are available within the frame class? So, there can be two constructors, two kind of overloaded constructor. One is the frame which is not having anything within the braces, that means no parenthesis default constructor, I can say. And another one is the constructor which is having one string as the parameter, and that parameter is nothing but that is going to serve as the title. So, this frame or your frame class is going to create a standard style window, and two of the frame constructors are shown on the screen. One is the default constructor which is nothing but the frame, and another one is the constructor with one string parameter. Now, along with these two constructor which are being shown on the screen, I am having I have written two exceptions along with that. So, frame throws headless exception. Similarly, your frame with the string throws headless exception too. Now, what is this headless exception? This headless exception is thrown if an attempt is made to create a frame instance in an environment that does not support user interaction. So, if your environment is not supporting any user interaction, then the headless exception is thrown if you try to attempt to create a frame within that particular environment which is not supporting user interaction. The two constructors which we have constructors which we have just discussed, one is the frame which throws a headless exception, another one is the frame with the string. So, the second form will create a window with the title specified, and the first form creates a standard window without a title. Now, we can say that one cannot specify the dimensions of the window initially at the time of the creation, but one facility to control the size is available, and that is the size of the window can be set after it has been created, and then set dimension facility is available over there. So, in this lecture what we have covered is what is actually AWT, what is the hierarchy of that, what is the hierarchy of the classes which are being used when we talk about this AWT functionality and so on and so forth. And then we have looked into at a deeper level detail into the frame class along with his constructor. Here is a list of references which is being used for the preparation of lecture. I hope you have enjoyed one. Thank you for the patient hearing. I will see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care. Goodbye.